What's going on, my fam sizzles? Welcome to another episode of Behind the Booth with me, DJ iSizzle. Today, we are going to talk about how I put together wedding life mixes. So, first thing is first, I will come up with a plan and say, well, what would be a good mix? And I start to think about the genre, and then I start to think about the overall theme. So recently, I put together a 1990s Euro dance pop mix. And the theme was, why don't we make it like a romantic comedy? So what I did is I found all the different songs to kind of fit the moments in a romantic comedy. So they first meet the couple. So you have a song about when they first meet, how they're uh, slowly starting to like say, hey, maybe I should ask them out on a date. And then you kind of get that kind of music to go with it. You get the whole flow of a romantic comedy. So what I'll do is I'll kind of map out that idea and then I'll go on to like different sites and I'll look up different songs from that era. And I will go into my DJ program, my Serato DJ Pro, and I'll start adding songs in there. And I'll just name it, 90s Euro pop or electronic music from the 90s, something to that sense. And then I'll just put on there like, this is the first draft. So, meaning I'll go on and I'll just start researching like YouTube videos of like what was hot from 1990 to the year 2000. And I'll look at all these videos, all the songs from that era, and I'll be like, oh, I know that song. Or if I get certain songs in playlists for weddings, I'll just like right off the top of my head, I'll remember those songs and I'll just put them in there. Something like a What Is Love by Hadaway. That one makes the playlist a lot of the time. So you'll put that one in there. LaBouche Be My Lover, you'll put that one in there. Um, there's just so many different songs that you'll always see in playlists. So first thing is you think about it and you're like, oh, that song would be good. That song would be good. But then if you watch like all these countdown shows, like you'll get more of a scope of what it felt like at the time and place. Like certain artists that were hot then, like people have never heard of them today. But like at the time, maybe they were hot for 6 months, maybe they're hot for 2, 3 years, but they just didn't translate into like 2026 or today's era of music. It's not the newest trend again or whatever. Or maybe the trend was cool 10 years ago, went out of style, hasn't come back yet. So um those are some things you have to think about. And then I'll also go on to like DJ record pools and I'll just start like typing in like certain artists, certain songs, see what comes up. Sometimes you can go on like places like allmusic.com. I think it's called allmusic.com. Anyways, you can look up like different artists that are related to other artists, and then it'll give you a whole like 10 pages of like artist upon artist that were within the same era, same genre, all that kind of stuff. So it'll kind of like lead you into a different area. And then also I like to go on to like a chat GPT and I'll ask them like what are like the 10 hottest songs from the 90s that is dance music. It'll usually list off some. You pick one or two off there. It's usually pretty good, but again, you're just doing research. You're just finding songs that'll probably, you won't use them all, but you're just building. You're just building like as many different like songs that you can find. You're kind of building an overall like soundscape too. So that being said, after that, what else do I do after that? I'll go to like a site that's like similar songs. So like I'll do like Hadaway, What Is Love, similar songs. You can do that on Google, you can do it on Gemini, you can do it on um what are some other ones? There's like Spotlight, there's Sounds Like, I don't know. There's like 100 sites you can go to and you can find similar like songs. And like a lot of times what you'll do is you'll go like look through and you'll be like, oh yeah, I like that one. That was a good song. And then you'll just grab it. If you already have it in your library, you could just grab it right out of your library. If not, go to a record pool, you know, they have their monthly subscriptions, then you can download unlimited songs or whatever it is, or you can pay per song, whatever works for you. And then after that, I'll kind of look at everything. I'll look at the whole playlist. Sometimes you can actually buy packs of like DJ packs where it's like edits of songs, like short edits, long edits, remixes. I try to stay away from remixes if I'm going to be doing something like like more of a listenable mix. Like if you're doing like a wedding and stuff, you can throw a couple remixes in there if the song's a little slow or you need something with a little more like updated sound. That's fine. But like if I'm just putting together an everyday mix, like I feel like if you're doing a mix for everyday listening, you're going to want something you can just put on and just listen to it. Versus like if it's a wedding, you're going to prepare a little more like, oh yeah, we got to bring the energy levels way up, you know, and it's mixing a wedding versus a wedding life mix, like, is totally a different, like, mindset. Like, there's a completely different mindset to that. So, when it comes to wedding life mixes, you wanna mix for the long run. So you wanna a mix that you mix now, but in 5 years from now, people can listen to it and be like, "Wow, this is great. This sounds great. I wanna listen to this again and again and again." So, when you're doing a wedding, it's of the moment, crowds in front of you, you gotta play to what's going on within the crowd. So you play to the party, you know? So, like, totally different psychology about, like, how you would put a playlist together. So, that's another, like, something that I think about as well. So after you round up all those songs, I will go in and I will reorganize. So when it comes to, like, electronic music, it's best to organize it by key. Because a lot of, like, electronic music is the same BPMs, so very rarely will you find a song that's not the same BPMs. So I organize it by key, so that way it kind of, like you can kinda move it within key, and then, like, it doesn't sound like, "Wow, why does this song sound like it's clashing when you listen to the mix," you know? It's like, no, mix it with key, and then you kinda stick within that key, and then a lot of the songs are kinda similar key anyway, so it's kinda easier, but I always, like, try to, like, kinda find that color key, color wheel or, you know, music wheel, sound wheel, key wheel. And then I'll kind of like reorganize songs a little bit within that theme of a romantic comedy. And then I'll go in and create a new folder, new playlist, copy all those songs, put it into the new playlist. And then I'll go and hook up my laptop to my controller and then I'll just start mixing like back and forth, try different mixes, see if it works. And sometimes like you'll be like, think a song will sound good within it and it just doesn't work. And that's okay. That's where you have your master playlist that has all your tracks because you can always go back to it and you can grab from it again. The second playlist is like now you can start pulling some songs out that don't work. If you think of new songs, which sometimes happens too, you can add those to your original folder and then pull it into your other folder. But if a song isn't working, just delete it. Just get it out of that folder, and then just keep mixing, keep moving around. And then sometimes like you'll think songs will go together, but then when you try to mix it, it doesn't work. So that's where you can rearrange your songs, mix it with key, and then kind of organize it within that, and try not to like I never try to like take my BPM from like 120 up to 130 in a mix unless I have a long stretch of song that I can do that with and I can be really slow. Because if you try to move too fast, it's like it doesn't sound good. Also, when I mix, I go in and add my vocals later. Like I'll be like a DJ that talks over it. I'll say that was Hadaway with What Is Love. Coming up on Wedding Life, we got LaBush with Be My Lover. We got Real McCoy, Another Night. But first, we have Snap with Rhythm is a Dancer. And then I have my little drops where the guy says like Wedding Life by DJ iSizzle. And I'll do that, like I'll have my drops, but I'll do that after I do my actual mix. So I do my mix, I prepare for those moments like 30 seconds where it's just gonna be like a beat going and a transition into the next song. I won't do that every time. I like to like do fast mixing as well. But if I'm gonna say something, like I'll have like 7 different places where I'll actually talk and introduce a song. I'll let people know, hey, new episodes every Friday. Also make sure you subscribe, you know, social media stuff, check out my website. And it's just a great way to let your listener, your fan, let them know like, hey, you can check me out on social media. You can, you know, make sure that you like the mix, make sure you share it, leave some comments, all that kind of stuff. So it's a great way to um, you know, keep people up to date on what you're up to as well as like to actually talk to your fans and um, you know, show them some appreciation. So after I kind of do a couple test runs, I'll kind of listen it out and I'll be like, okay, I think that's pretty good. And then I'll kind of walk away for a few days and I'll just kind of like work on my business stuff or I'll work on something else. I'll kind of just forget it. And then I'll come back to it with a fresh set. Be like, okay, I hadn't thought about it in a few days. Cool. I can take a break from it. So I got a whole different fresh perspective. And then even at that, you might think of new songs um, to put into the mix that you hadn't thought about when you're trying to like put the mix together. I think the first mix you do of a genre should be your best mix because you're choosing, say, 10 years from a genre. Like you should be choosing the best songs from that genre for that mix. Like if you listen to volume 3 or volume 4, volume 5 of other DJ mixes, it's cool, but I feel like those first mixes is where you can get it right. Like volume 1 should be volume 1 the best of. Volume 2 is cool, but it's probably not going to have all those hits that the first volume has. So always put like the good energy into the first volume. That first volume should be as good as it can be. And then once I take a few days off, I kind of come back. Maybe I'll listen to some more charts or I'll go check out some more charts. I'll research some more artists. And then I'll say, I think I'm ready. And then I will get over there. I'll set everything up. I'll say, this is the song I'm going to start with. This is what I'm going to end with. Here's my, but before I do that, I go in and I actually set 8/16 beats. Like I go in there and I actually skip ahead on there and make sure that everything is perfect when you mix. It's very mathematical when you mix. If you don't mix mathematically, it sounds off. Now, again, this is if you're doing a mix with no crowd around. If you're doing a mix with a crowd, it doesn't matter. Like, mix with a crowd, man, it's all about rocking that party at that time and moment. But if you're doing a home mix or if you're doing a studio mix and there isn't a crowd around you and you're going to release it to the internet and then they're going to listen to it later, this is where it's very important to set your cue points, set your ins, your outs, know when you're going to mix in and out. That's where I'll do a practice mix. I'll do a prep mix where I'll just say, okay, I'm going to start it here. I'm going to go out here. Is it going to sound good? Sometimes I think it's going to sound good, and then I mix it. I'm like, that clashes, or oh, I need another 2 beats before I like get out of that song so I can transition into that nicely. So I don't always want to be perfect on every one of them because sometimes it's nice to have a little imperfection as we are human and we do like a little imperfection in our mixes. So that being said, I'll always practice my mixes before I do it to make sure my timing is just right. I do something that they say like the worst thing you can do on social media if you're learning to become a DJ is to hit the sync button. And yes, I guess that's bad. Look, the technology's there. Use it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll use the sync button. I'll match all my beats up. Whatever. I don't care. Another thing that a lot of DJs will tell you too is you got to use headphones. Look, I taught myself years and years ago how to DJ by ear. I don't have headphones that I DJ with. I just taught myself to learn my catalog, to set up my playlist just right, to know all my different songs that I'm going to use for whatever night. And then I just go and I DJ. Like, I don't, to be honest with you, I just never learned with headphones. So if you're setting up a DJ mix and you don't do things a certain way, how it's supposed to be done, that's fine. Like, I knew some of the most brilliant people growing up. One of the most brilliant piano players. My best friend, his dad he used to play at the church. He used to play like in concerts. He had his own albums, his own bands. He never knew how to read any sheet music. He could just listen to a song and be like, I got you. And he'd just start playing it. And like, I was like, wow, like that is insane. When I was younger, I thought that was cool. But as I get older, I'm like, that's insane. Like you can just hear a song and know what key it is and then just how to play it. To me, that's cooler than reading sheet music. But I do also understand the need to read sheet music, and I understand the need to have headphones because sometimes you need headphones to listen to a song if it's a request. I have an assistant that does that for me, but again, this is just kind of the preparation I take. Take your own preparation. look, there's really no rules. Like, yeah, you need to line up your beats, you make sure your keys are good, but you don't have to wear headphones. The sync button is there to use it. Like, no one cares that's partying with you. No one cares that's listening. The only people that care are the other DJs that are hating on you because you're not they're not the ones up there and you're playing and you're hitting the sync button and you're getting all the work. They're upset with you. Okay, oh well, we'll move on. Like, who cares? Anyway, everybody has their own techniques. You could criticize them, they can criticize you, but at the end of it all, we should all be about love, support each other, all that good stuff. So, that being said, I'll do my practice mixes, test everything out. Once I get that locked down and I feel good about it, reorganize a few songs. I'll always make sure my edits feel right. You don't want to play too much of a song, you don't want to play too little of a song. Everything's kind of a timing experience, play it by ear. Once all that, I feel like it's set and it's good to go, I will go ahead and hit the record button, hit the play button, and then we are off to mixing. And sometimes I'll mix for an hour, sometimes I'll mix for 2 hours. Kind of depends on how much music I have. I never plan to just DJ for an hour. Like, I never plan on just being a 1 hour mix. If I'll release it as a 1 hour mix or a little under, or maybe a little over. But if I mix for 2 hours and I've set up a mix for a 2 hour mix, I'll just cut it in half. And I'll release it next week or I'll release it in a few weeks. But I never like say it has to be exactly 1 hour because it doesn't, like, your creativity and all that stuff should just be whatever, just let it flow. Like, if it's an hour and 10 minutes, then release an hour and 10-minute mix. Like, there's no rules to that. So that being said, it's probably desirable 45 minutes to an hour as a mix. That's why I kind of keep it within that range. But that's kind of up to you. That's kind of up to your own taste and preference. Um, Once I get it mixed, I will go into Audacity. I'll normalize my levels. I'll bring up my levels. For some reason, when you record in Serato DJ Pro, it lowers the levels down. Whatever. I'm sure there's solutions for that, but I go in there, I do my normalization and normalize my levels, make sure everything is at a good level. After that, I'll run it into the program. I'll record my voiceovers. I'll write all my voiceovers, record them, lay them down, export it, normalize it. And then I'll get all my track lists together and I'll make sure that when I'm uploading to Mixcloud, I used to do YouTube. Man, copyright is terrible, man. They'll block your stuff. They'll tell you to edit stuff out. I say, look, man, I spent all this time putting this mix together. I'm not going to edit anything out. So I went to Mixcloud. It's made for DJs, supported by DJs. Record companies love it. They get a cut. Do the right thing. Pay for the yearly membership, unlimited uploads. Just call it good. So once I upload it, I will name it, put a nice little description about what it is, tag it. If it'd be 90s dance pop, whatever they suggest, you just go with it. And then upload your time codes. And that way when people are listening, if maybe they don't like the song, they can just hit the skip button and go to the next song. Also, it is great for metadata and it expands metadata, if I'm a Seattle DJ, it's going to expand all through Seattle. People are looking for Seattle DJ mixes. Boom, show it right up. Wedding mixes, Seattle DJs, weddings. Here's your mix. There it is, right there. It just showed up. And then after that, it comes out weekly, and then I will share it. I create a cover that says like Wedding Life, what number it is. Create a cover for that, and then once it posts, and then I will share it to social medias and let people know that it's there. And then I'll also embed it on my website, create a post for it on my website to give it a little more reach. I know I need to do more promotion on these things, but at this point, the real reason that I do these wedding mixes is to stay sharp, because I want to be sharp when it comes to all different genres of music. Because yeah, I mix the 90s stuff. I also mix 80s, 70s, 60s, Motown. I mix 2000s hip hop. I mix 2000s R&B. I mix 2010s, 20s, like country, rock, pop, punk, whatever. Like, I mix it all. So, but by doing the research and like learning all these different artists, their names, their songs, you can become extra sharp. And then also when you talk to couples about their playlists, you know exactly every song, you know all the artists. Sometimes you'll get new artists that you never heard of, and that's fine. That's good. You can learn some more that way. But when you look at a playlist, you can kind of say, okay, I think I know what they're looking for. So it's a great way to stay sharp. It's a great way to keep your mixing skills on point. Um, Great because you're already preparing all your tracks for your future jobs, as well as you are bringing in more new music, which you should continually do as a wedding DJ or any DJ in general. You should always be looking for new music. Always be saying, "Did that work when I played it last time for that crowd? Was it just the wrong timing? Did it hit like it should have? Is there ways to improve it? Can I get a song where it's like a shorter edit?" Like, how do I get in and out of the song faster? Do I need to put the chorus first and then go into the verse and then go back to the chorus? Or is it just a chorus only? You gotta have a bunch of different edits for all these moments and everything. So that is why I do the Wedding Life mix. It keeps me fresh, keeps me up to date, keeps me constantly researching music from the past, music that's coming up, all that good stuff. So that being said, I think that's pretty much the extent of how I put together the mixes. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hit me up here, hit me up on social media. Always happy to answer any questions. All right, I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.